Cyber survivability is a subset of the cybersecurity field, which focuses on confidentiality, integrity, and availability, whereas cyber survivability really focuses on those tenets in the context of a mission. We really focus on making sure that you can complete a mission in the event of a cyber attack versus preventing all attacks from occurring. So cyber survivability is not a new concept. It is very much related to two concepts that are germane to the industry: fault tolerance and resilience. Fault tolerance really focuses on if there's a system failure, can the system perform its intended outcome? Resilience focuses on if there's a cyber attack or catastrophic event, can the system still perform its intended function? Cyber survivability borrows from those two concepts, but focuses really on mission enablement. So there's three main challenges with cyber survivability. One, the mission prevention mindset, meaning how do you train a cybersecurity professional who is trained to look at all attacks to focus on just those attacks that impact the mission? Very difficult challenge, and that's one of the main challenges that we'll have to address in the cyber survivability field. Secondly, the insider threat problem. This is a problem that proliferates both the weapon systems environments as well as IT environments. The insider threat problem is really, in my opinion, the only problem that we have to be concerned about. But weapon systems are very unique in the sense that they're not connected to the network or the internet as we know it. So all of our protections will have to focus on the insider threat problem, which characteristically has been the most challenging. Last but not least is the domain knowledge. Domain knowledge is required because weapon systems are very unique and they're not ubiquitously used as are laptops, desktops, mobile devices. So there's a requirement and a collaboration for cybersecurity professionals to work with engineers and operators in designing effective cyber defense measures to protect against issues in that space. Well, fundamentally, they're pretty much the same. They both focus on preventing attack outcomes. When I talk about attack outcomes, there are three main ones: information theft, denial of service to legitimate users, and cyber deception, which is basically causing people to make decisions based on faulty information, which none of us like. Weapon system security is a little bit more challenging because it requires extensive domain knowledge to design cyber defense protections for them, whereas IT security is easier because everyone has a laptop, everyone has a desktop, everyone has a mobile device, everyone drives a car, and with technology being in everything that we use on a day-to-day basis, it's easier to design protections for them, whereas weapon systems are not as readily used or readily available. So as a result, even though I'm a cybersecurity professional, it's more difficult to design protection for those particular platforms. Well, the first is we talked about already, shifting the mindset from prevention to mission, because we're trained to prevent all attacks, not to prevent just certain attacks that would impact our mission. So that would be the first big return on investment in the space. The second would be defining attack scenarios, because the weapon systems aren't everyday use equipment like IT equipment is. Defining attack scenarios specific to those weapon systems platforms in a cyber survivability manner would be the second biggest return on investment. And then the last one is relatively funny: getting the geeks in the room. So I'm a cybersecurity professional, probably the biggest geek in the room at the moment. Engineers and operators would also have to join me in the room to be effective at implementing cyber survivability for a variety of weapon systems platforms. Well, every soldier that I've worked with hates cybersecurity controls. Why? Because it makes their job more difficult. So good cybersecurity is really about hygiene, right? How effective are we at implementing a control without anyone knowing about it? So I think cyber survivability really focuses for the soldier on making their mission easier, right? Their mission is focused on getting home safely to their friends and family and completing whatever the mission objective is. Secondly, on the field, we do not prevent them from accomplishing the mission. So there's a concept called an intrusion prevention system. And what it does is it detects an attack and then makes a decision based on what that attack is. So imagine that a soldier is in the field and they have to fire their weapon, and a cybersecurity control is preventing them from doing that. That would not have a great result.